Hey everyone, I'm Pooja and welcome to my very first video with a travel vlog. I've been wanting to do this for a while and thought what better way to start than with a trip from Dublin to Copenhagen. If you enjoy travel videos and exploring new places, please make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I've been wanting to visit for a while and I'm excited to see what the city is like. My flight was pretty short, so it was amazing. The weather was perfect and I just landed in Copenhagen. First impressions, the airport is super clean, really easy to get around, and everything feels organized. I ended up having the wheels of my suitcase broken, so instead of opting for a metro dragging my suitcase along, I chose an Uber, which was way under 15 euros because my hotel was hardly 15 to 20 minutes away. Perfect after the flight. Yeah, that's the broken wheel right there. Here's a quick glimpse of our hotel room, which is a studio apartment with all the basic amenities you would need for a week's stay. Please feel free to follow me on Instagram if you like more content like this. The bathroom was super tidy and neat and had all the amenities you would need. The beds were comfy, lots of storage on the sides of the beds, a large window, TV, and a lounging area. The kitchen even had basic utensils. And that's the overall glimpse of the room. There's a dining area below the hotel room at the reception. This is the Amager beach stand in front of the hotel we were staying. It's a 5-minute walk and amazing place to walk by or chill around in summers. We were off to the Reffen food street that evening to have some amazing food. Even though the weather was bright, by the evening it started getting cloudy and it was chilly as well, which I wasn't expecting because the weather morning was really humid and hot. There were a lot of cuisine options available. We ended up going for some Asian and Middle Eastern options, settled by a nice bench with good views, and called it a day. The next day, we headed out to the Botanical Gardens. First off, this garden is huge, 10 hectares packed with over 13,000 plant species. You've got Danish natives, perennials, annuals, rock gardens with alpine plants, all laid out so beautifully it literally takes your breath away. You would find Victorian-style glass houses that tower over 16 meters high. Inside you will find palms, century-old cycads, orchids, and even Arctic climate plants, all within these dazzling glass walls. Some part of the botanical gardens were under renovation. Then there's the rock garden full of mountain plants from Central and Southern Europe. It's rugged and wild in the prettiest way. Spring and early summer here are especially stunning. If you need a break, there's a cafe and little flower shop inside, great for grabbing a coffee or a souvenir. There's also a corner dedicated to native Danish flora, around 600 species. It's like getting to know the country through its plants. Most of them are labeled so you can learn what you're looking at, and I love that. Next off, we were off to the cactus garden. It had every type of cactus or cacti or succulents you can think of, very nicely arranged, labeled, and looked very aesthetic as well. Next up is my favorite house, the Butterfly House. Open only in summers, these glass houses are filled with fluttering butterflies. It's like stepping into a living, colorful fairy tale. Beware of all the frog noises you would be prepared to hear inside these humid areas. But the butterflies were really pretty and were all in the open. There are also a koi pond and other areas to walk by within the botanical gardens that look really pretty, and given the weather, it's really good to soak in all the good sun and just stroll by. A short walk from the botanical gardens is the Natural History Museum of Denmark. It is a fascinating mix of science, history, and wonder which highlights the sparkling crystals in the mineral hall. It also holds one of the largest collection of Nordics, over 17 million plants, animal fossils, and minerals. The museum is also a treasure trove of biodiversity, housing millions of specimens and even DNA samples, making it a hub for research as much as for visitors. The location is central and right near Norreport station. The King's Garden is also a short walk away from the Natural History Museum. This is the oldest and the most popular park in the city, originally laid out in the early 1600s as the Royal Gardens of the Rosenborg Castle. As you stroll along, you'll spot classical statues stuck between greenery, fountains, and little benches where you can stop and take in the view of the castle towers rising above the trees. By this time, we were hungry and we ended up walking towards the city center, which was bustling here, as you can see. We had a lunch at this restaurant called the Union Kitchen, which had this amazing Asian salad. Though the boat rides were not in our agenda that day, because we were already in the city center, we ended up going for the boat ride as well. I would recommend booking this online because we paid for tickets on the spot and I thought it was slightly expensive than what you book online. If I find any good links, I would leave them in the description later. This is the most infamous city center images you would have find of Copenhagen online. And our tour guide was so fun and entertaining. He was telling how these expensive apartments were selling for. We also managed to find the Danish royal ship, which was rarely seen outside. There was some event, I assume, that it was taken out for a ride that day. You will come across a lot of tiny canals you pass through, and after that boat ride, we ended up roaming around in the King's New Square, the city center, which I assume, for some magnet shopping and some coffee break. The coffee collector was really good, and the whole looked like a shopping center to me. Was amazing and a very nice vibe. Overall, the buildings in Copenhagen were really thoughtfully designed, and both the modern and the ancient buildings looked very well taken care of. The weather next day was gloomy, and because this was a chill vacation, we didn't have a tight itinerary planned for us. But we decided to go to the city center to take a look at the Tivoli Gardens and Park. We also walked through some historic buildings in the city center and then straight to the Tivoli Gardens and Park. The park opens at around 11 a.m., so we had some time to kill before we went to buy the tickets. Now, beware, we did not buy the tickets in advance because we didn't have an itinerary then. So we went to the coffee shop opposite to grab a coffee and quick snack because we didn't have breakfast at the hotel. The pastry shops and food in Copenhagen is really amazing. You have a wide selection, and everything here is so tasty and very well made. While we were enjoying our coffee, we didn't realize the queues will build up quickly at the Tivoli Gardens, only to realize that we would end up spending more than an hour waiting in the queues to get in. So instead, we changed the itinerary to stroll around the city and explore other places. This is us strolling past some amazing buildings. The walkways are wide, and everybody here loves to cycle around, so the cycle lanes are perfect as well. We ended up visiting the Danish Architecture Center, which is again a quick walk from the city center. If you're interested in understanding more about the design, the architectural elements of buildings around the city, then this is a place you'd really enjoy. They really have details of the structural design elements and also a little bit of history about the buildings, the origination, and how they both the modern and the older versions of it, along with models built in, very meticulously planned, explained. From the Danish Architecture Center, we headed out to cross the road into the Black Diamond Library nearby. All of this is within walking distance in the city center, so it's easier to get around. Just wear a comfy pair of shoes and you should be good to go. The weather turned out amazing after a gloomy start to the day. This library is really humongous. It has several floors on top of each other, stacked with elevators, and looks very futuristic. And the view from the top floor is amazing. From the library, we decided to walk through the gardens nearby. The greenery around was very relaxing, and the flower beds were in full bloom, given that it was summer in July. We sat around to rest a bit and enjoy the scenery around. There wasn't a lot of crowd, so it was very pleasant and easy to get around and exploring areas in the city center. The Christiansborg Palace is one of the most important landmarks in Copenhagen. What makes this place so special is that it's the only building in the world that houses all three branches of a country's government: the parliament, the Supreme Court, and the Prime Minister's office, all under one roof. And on top of that, parts of the palace are still used by the Danish royal family for state events. It's a mix of Baroque and neoclassical style with really imposing presence. We walked straight into the city center again from the palace gardens and stopped for a quick break at Buka. The cardamom buns are a Copenhagen favorite, and I personally really loved the one at Buka. We went off to the hotel, rested for a bit, and we're off to a friend's place. Just about an hour outside Copenhagen, you'll find Holbæk Fjord, a calm and serene stretch of water. The town of Holbæk sits right on the edge with a cozy harbour, small boats bobbing in the water, and a laid-back atmosphere. The fjord is perfect for sailing, kayaking, or just strolling in the waterfront with the views that stretch far out to the surrounding countryside. We had a relaxed evening and an amazing dinner at a friend's place and headed back to the city that night to rest a bit because we had a hectic day the next. This is a day trip we planned to Malmö, Sweden from where we were living in the Copenhagen. We were near to the airport, and from the airport, the Malmö city was a train ride away. It's 40 to 45 minutes. You can purchase the round trip tickets at the airport. This is the Malmö Central Station, and this is one of the third biggest cities in Sweden. The heart of Malmö is an old town with cobblestone streets, colorful squares, and something you'll really enjoy. The weather that day was really hot, so we decided to take the boat ride to explore the city. The boat ride was right outside the central station, which was convenient, and we just had to book our tickets on the spot and get into the boat. The city in general feels very lively but not too crowded, hence it's very easy to wander around as well, given the weather is pleasant. There's both a historic and a modern side to the city, with turning torso skyscrapers on one side and old tree-developed Western Harbour on the other side, where people are swimming and sunbathing in summer. It really mixes the history and modern design well, and the nature plus the food scene is incredible as well. For a small city, it does spark a lot of charm. The park spaces along our boat ride looked amazing, with all the greenery around and people chilling nearby. You also drift by green parks and quiet corners of the city you wouldn't really notice on foot. The ride takes you past the old town with its colorful houses under low bridges where you sometimes have to duck, and out toward the modern waterfront near the turning torso. It's such a cool contrast, medieval streets on one side and sleek Scandinavian architecture on the other. If you're here on a sunny day, definitely try it. Sitting on the open deck with the breeze gliding through the canals gives you a whole new perspective of the city. What used to be a busy industrial port has been completely transformed into a mix of modern living spaces, parks, and cool cafes by the water. These are the old dockyards of the city, now transformed into living spaces and modern apartments. Our guide was showing us around the expensive apartments that have turned up in the dockyard and this canal front. After a boat ride in the city, we decided to stop by a place for lunch. And then headed back to Copenhagen to call it a day. The Øresund Bridge, this between Sweden and Denmark, is really an architecture wonder. This was the last day in the city, so we decided to check out at time and leave our baggage at the hotel to explore some other parts of the city. First stop was at the Jono Bakery for their amazing baked goods. Be prepared to stand in the queue for long, but they were worth it. Our first stop for the Amalienburg Palace was unfortunately closed for a private event that day, so we couldn't get to explore the palace from inside. So we decided to walk around to the St. Albans Church nearby and also visit the Little Mermaid. The walk was okay because the weather was too hot again that day. The Little Mermaid area was extremely crowded with a lot of tourist buses because it was Saturday and the weekend. We caught a glimpse of the Little Mermaid and decided to head back into the hotel, collect our baggage, and head straight to the airport. That was our fun Copenhagen trip and we really enjoyed the city. We hope to visit again soon. Hope you enjoyed exploring Copenhagen with us. Bye until next time and thanks for watching.